I'm going to use some illustrations and without naming names, and many times it's just made up names and people. But the shoe fits. Wear it. Let's say we have an individual who is maybe 100, 200 pounds overweight. Now, this person knows that you ask God, submit your cares and fears to Him, and He would take care of it. So they do. And they pray it this way: God, help me to lose the weight. Now, how God's going to go about doing that won't be to what they may think. Because they'll go off and they'll share. If they put their request into God, they'll put the same request to family, friends, husband, wife, work associates, and they'll get all kind of opinions and ideas about a diet, and opinions and ideas as to why I think you're overeating, or why you have all that weight, why you can't lose it. Yet they'd ask God, maybe not knowing that it says the big request be known unto the Lord, make it known to Him. Then you're to wait. Now understand this, through your spirit for righteousness, or what God's way of handling this to come. You wait. Meanwhile, if your problem is overeating, you continue to eat like you normally eat. Or say if it's drinking, you continue to drink as you normally drank, or smoked, or had a wicked tongue, and was all the time judging everybody. You might pray, God, help me to quit judging people. Now, God's got ways to deal with this beyond the opinions and ideas that you may have in your own ego, or the egos of others, and our carnal minds, emotions, and thoughts of things that they've picked up in what's called the flesh, that they inevitably inhaled it by hearing it or reading it, and only exhaled it like a parrot as to what you should and shouldn't do. And I'm saying you could have 10 people, and 10 people would give you a different opinion and idea. Now, if you waited on the Lord to a process of time, He would deal with the root of the problem, which you'll find out is not your eating, your drinking, your smoking, or your wicked tongue. Something much deeper that only God knows. What man knows the thoughts of man, save the spirit of that man. Your quickened human spirit knows to the root of this iniquity that you were shaped in by your parents, your race, your cultures, and your creed, that's causing the problems. All our people in our family are overweight. All my great-grandfather and grandfather, my dad, and all smoked. They all drank. Or they all were very judgmental with their mouths. 1,000 other hang-ups and problems we call sins, which is the iniquity that visits the third, second, third, fourth generation. God knows how to deal with that through a process of time. We wait through the Spirit. If you would wait, problems that you may have had without picking on any particular problem, lack of control in your life, in an area of your life, that's the real problem. The real problem is you're trying to control your own life, independent from God. No, to act independent from God, sin. To act independent from God, sin. I mean, get that fixed in your head. Your good efforts are listening to someone else and going on that diet. Here's an example. I once knew a woman who did that. Went on a diet. Popular diet. You see it advertised on TV all the time. She succeeded. It worked. She lost all this weight, hundreds of pounds. Slim, trim, beautiful. They put on a national ad, national TV. Today, she's a about 200 pounds overweight, has MS, and a multiplicity of other sickness and diseases, and is praying that God will heal her, take care of her problem. Again, no matter how you look at it, it comes down to waiting. I like what the Lord said one time when I was trying to deal with somebody's problem, wasn't willing to wait. I said, why haven't you dealt with this? He said, you haven't waited. I said, what do you mean by wait? He said, without any interfering thought. W-A-I-T. Without any interfering thought. If you ask God to do something, you should trust that He'll do it. Or you're making Him out to be a liar. God says He's going to do something. He's going to take care of your spirit, soul, and body. He would do it. For those that you need Bible reference, go view my other videos. I give all the Bible references to a lot of them I'm saying here. And it comes up, and I'm not going to go off repeating it now. You go off and view those other videos, or you search the scripture to see that what I'm saying is true. Everything I've said so far up to this point has been biblical. You go off and ask. So the title of this video, First Things First. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, His way of handling this matter. And all these things would be added unto you. I remember Catherine Marshall, a well-known wife of a famous minister that had preached at one of the famous churches down there in Washington, D.C. Peter Marshall. You may have heard of him. It's not important. To the point. She had a problem with sleeping and had gotten addicted to sleeping pills. She kept praying that God would take away her pills, sleeping pills, and the habit, and didn't appear to be answering her prayers. So she complained. And God said, Catherine, I'm not just dealing with your pills. I'm dealing with things much deeper. And when I deal with these deeper matters, you won't need the pills to sleep. You'll find rest for your weary soul. I mean, it's powerful. We think it's the substance or this cause or that cause. We don't know the real cause. And anyone around you, as good as they may try or attempt to try to figure you out, doctors, psychiatrists, and the like, without putting them down. I mean, some people, you need that. Apart from that, they would have no help, no hope in this world at all. Better than nothing. The greatest hope that you could ever gain is that God will meet all your needs according to His riches, His ideas, His powers, His ability to structure your circumstances to set not only you free from your addicted habit, but free indeed. And none of these things will bother anymore. We're warned in Scripture that we're not sufficient in ourselves to evaluate anything. It also is written, let every man be a liar, let God be true. Only God really knows your real problem. I mean, in the honesty of many a doctor, they're beginning to see it. That they're honest. We don't know what the answer is to your problem. We tried this, we tried that, we tried that. Then when we tried this, we created another problem. Trying to solve one problem, we create 10 more. And the side effects are, you hear the pills, the ads. You wonder, what's the chance that when I take this pill, that one of these side effects will show up in my life. Well, they don't know. If they knew, they wouldn't be giving the people the pill that would react to the pill in the way that they describe. In honesty, they got to be honest. We're not God. We don't know. They act independent from God. It's called sin. That every man be a liar, that God be true. Imagine going to a doctor and asking him, what's the Lord share with you concerning my problem? And he sits there and prays with you, and then the Lord gives him a word, and through that word, he heals you. He doesn't give you a regimen of pills, seeing which one works. If I say, why would you have to give me a regimen of pills to find out which ones work? Don't you know? They don't. And you can't prescribe one pill to all, because what one person may react with that pill one way, another reacts another way. And with some, it works. They're flipping a coin. They really don't know. You heard them prescribe a regimen of pills, or give you some of the latest pills, or looking back and then you see all the lawsuits against these pharmaceutical companies that put things out that's supposed to be helping people, healing them, ends up killing them. And they're getting sued. Well, they're working on that. I believe now they already have an effect that you can't sue the pharmaceutical companies anymore. They're exempt from lawsuits. That's why they put the warnings out there. Well, we warned you. Well, I trusted my doctor. Come on. I mean, I'm not here to give out, advice as far as medical advice. You have to go, this is between you and God, or you and your doctor. You got to go off, search these things for yourself. Because if anything ever happened to any of these people that listen to these videos of mine, I put a disclaimer that I'm not trying to give out. I'm just sharing with you what I've picked up over my 70 years of life and experience of things that didn't work and things that have worked, and some things I'm presently still dealing with. Maybe when I'm willing to let it go, God will handle it. He does. Why don't God take this away from me? Are you willing? Are you willing to see what's the real cause of it? Instead, you want to blame what you've been told as to this cause of why this happens in your life. Are they always right? No. Yeah, maybe it's called what they call divine leaks. Every now and then, God takes one of these donkeys, like with Baal, and speaks a warning to the mouth of a donkey. I would use the word, the other word for donkey, you know the word. But I don't mean to put down the medical people, as they've done a lot of good work in helping. Imagine Jesus walking into one of these facilities with a number of people with cancer. What would the Son of God done? Through the Son of Man, Jesus. Understand, it wasn't Jesus. He was working the works of him who sent him. It was the power of God through the Son of Man, through Christ in him, that worked. What would he have done in one of those facilities? Could he heal them all? Probably. Would he? He would if he could. But some people aren't willing. Some people have their sickness and disease, which comes out in another video I put out called 5.4. 5 basic needs and 4 escapes in our life. If we want to be sick, because that sickness gives us attention, which is the root of our real problem. I remember a woman that did that. She was so convinced, well, she was trying to convince every doctor that she went to till she found a doctor that agreed with her. and she got the attention that she wanted. That said to her, you have MS. She went with that. Got the sympathy of a husband, got the sympathy of a crowd of people. If there was a cure tomorrow for that disease, she wouldn't take it. Because if she got healed, it'd be like the blind man. Once he was healed, that's it. You can't beg no more. He has to go get a job. Some people don't want their sickness to go away. It's one of the escapes. If your needs ain't being met, you turn to it. Sickness. It gives you the attention you want. What's the real problem? Your desire for attention. You need to be loved. And someone loved and to love in return. They feel some sense of security, recognition, creativity, adventure in life. For some people, sickness is an adventure. You know that? They get to tote around with them a little tank of it, oxygen. People feeling sorry for them. I mean, there's legitimate sickness. But then there's what they call psychomatic. The doctor said, well, you're not really sick. I mean, she went to all these other doctors. They said, you don't have that. But she finally finds one that agrees. Then all the symptoms of MS showed up in her life. But gave her the attention that she always desired. I mean, these are people made up. Some people, I don't want to bring out names here of people I've known. And sometimes it's me, my own experience with this. My need for attention, recognition, getting sick. First thing I do, like with a common cold, I start feeling a common cold, first thing I say out loud, I don't need the attention, go away. I won't get it on a pity trip. Everyone feels, oh, poor daddy, he's sick. Feel sorry for you. I don't want that kind of attention. Have to get sick to get recognition? God forbid. I may have shared this story in one of my other videos, in this series or probably another series, of a young man I worked with in a prison. He was a prison guard, and so was I. And he knew that I would close to God and I would talk to God. So one time he came to me privately and said to me, Paul, will you pray for my dad? I said, sure, what's the problem? He said, well, he had a heart attack. They have him in a tent, so we won't get no infected. And they can't close him up because they don't really know the problem of what's wrong with him. So they got his chest wide open in this tent to avoid no infection. And they were puzzled as to why he had what appears to be gangrene of the heart. Gangrene? I said, good God. He said, will you pray about it? I said, sure. So I prayed with him. And I said, well, right now I don't have an answer. I don't know no more than they know, or you know, the doctors know. But I'll ask, I know one who does know. A couple days later, he came back and met me in my unit and said, did you get anything when you prayed? I said, yeah. I said, for the life of me, I don't understand what it means. He said, what did you get? The problem lies within the roots. The problem lies within the roots. I said, I don't know what that means. I said, go ask the doctor. Share it with the doctor. Oh, no, I can't do that. That would be kind of embarrassing. I went to a guy at work and he prayed and God told him that the problem lied in the roots. I said, well, I understand. They wouldn't. They'd probably think you lost it. So I'll pray now. Father, I pray with said, Father, cause these doctors to see the root of this problem and what you mean by that we might know and that they might know. A couple days later, he came back to me all excited. He said, "You won't believe this." I said, What happened?" He said, "Now what they found out? That my dad had went to the dentist a day before his heart attack. They had extracted a tooth, yet they didn't extract it at all, and it got infected in his jaw, and it got into his bloodstream, ended up clogging his heart, giving him gangrene of the heart. So the problem did lie in the roots of that tooth in his mouth. They corrected that, stopped the gangrene, and sealed him back up. He said, my dad's as healthy as unbelievable. He's sitting up, laughing, talking, everything. You wouldn't believe it. He said, but I said, that's great. Praise God. He said, well, there's one more thing I got to share. He said, my dad's a man of the world. He's not known to be religious or get into religious expressions and manners. But he shared with me, laughing out loud, talking to me in the hospital. He said to me, you know what happened to me the other night? He said, as I'm sitting here, my chest wide open, half awake, half asleep, I saw a bright light at the end of my bed and the figure of a man. And this figure said to me, you're going to be okay. Powerful. My God, that's powerful. I know you hear all kinds of stories out there. You wonder if half of them are true, or just some devil or demon getting off their thing, try to get people distracted from the power of God, looking to talking angels and everything else. But for this, it was sincere. Because the guy said he fell right to sleep. He felt such comfort. He said the flow of God's light and life flowed through me. Now this is a guy's man of the world, no trucker type. Unbelievable, but believable that God does answer prayer. Well, I'm seeing this is 22 minutes long. I'll end on that. I mean, there's other stories or other situations where people have asked. I've seen God work many wondrous things. I don't go around boasting and bragging about it. Don't want to do that. You don't see Jesus doing that. Like when he would raise the dead, heal the sick, the blind, the lame. He didn't go around boasting and bragging. Did you see what I just did? Boy, ain't that powerful? I got the power of God. Yeah, yes. And lay hands on people's heads, showing off to a crowd. He avoided the crowd. He did that with the Father told him and moved on. So that's what I'm going to do now. So God bless you. I hope you got something out of this.